How do we traverse the dark night of the soul? Suffering is the greatest opportunity to be free. It's not so much a matter of getting over what hurts as it is using the energy of it to permanently change one's inner arrangement. The normal inner arrangement of a person sees happiness in alignment between what is and what's wanted. It's a temporary happiness that looks outside for contentment. It comes from believing that our whole being arises from the form. This unconscious body identification brings fear for the body and creates the need for a thought-denominated agent to protect mental positions that serve the form. The problem here is that the shadow of fear is always there, and it hides the palpable love that will automatically appear in its absence. So long as we're unconsciously identified with form, there's a peace that's completely unknown to our senses. The only peace and love we feel is conditional. Unconditional love is not the same feeling as conditional love song conditions. It's more like a sweet wellspring that perpetually arises in your midst. It is beyond the five senses and thought. In the modality of surrender, one works not with the content of thoughts and their relation to the perceived self, but rather, impersonally feels the feelings that underlie the thoughts. When attention is given to the feeling and not the content, there's no proliferation because the feeling does not have the hooks of personal identity to bump up against countervailing thoughts that cause proliferation. Normally the whole body of thoughts appears as the identity and causes feelings based on how they relate to the world. For example, my team is winning or losing, therefore, I feel happy or sad. The collection of thoughts is rooted in the idea of an I, which arises from the heart of the child before words to facilitate relational thinking. By feeling the thoughts and not engaging the content, the energy that underlies them is surrendered, and the content loses its magnetic power over attention. As more hurtful thoughts arise, this process of feeling the feelings and giving them over to the universe is mindfully repeated. Eventually the branches of the egoic tree begin to thin until only the feeling of I is retained, and it too is ultimately surrendered to the spiritual heart, and you have no positions, no sense of observable self that observes thought and form. It was never there to begin with. In the absence of relational thinking, you are nobody but love, and it is felt.